with Coach Andy Capone with the Weddington Warriors. Coach, first of all, congratulations on being here again. Another big game for you, another step in the level going toward the championship. What about tonight's game against Grimsley? What are you seeing from these Grimsley Whirlies, and what are you seeing from your own team as you come to the game tonight?
Yeah, I think, two of the most physical teams left, extremely talented, extremely well coached, and very physical. They want to run the ball, we want to run the ball, and, I think that's, part of our DNA. So, the goal is going to be who's going to be able to run the ball a little bit better and defend the run.
What about last year's game? You guys won that game at your place, 44-27. I think the scores are somewhere in that neighborhood. Tonight, you see a similar type game as you saw last year. It's a little bit different this year as far as the landscape goes. How is it different maybe this year?
Yeah, every year is a little different. I think their MO is their MO. I think our MO is our MO. But, they do such a great job year in, year out of adjusting to their personnel, and as do we. So, I think, the core of it is going to be a physical, dogfight for 48 minutes. But, every year is going to look a little different.
Hear a lot about your defensive line. I know you're probably proud of what those guys have done the past couple years up front, and again this year, strong across the front there on defense.
Yeah, it starts with, the twins, Aiden and Drew Harris, and then, Trajan coming in, and then rotating about 3 or 4 more guys. But, I think that's one thing we've been really successful with is our front 7, and, those guys have been game wreckers. So they got to have a big night tonight. They got to stay gap sound and make sure, they're not trying to do too much, just play the game that they've done all year.
Let me switch gears and get to the running game. What about Diamond last week versus East Forsyth? So he had a very impressive game.
Yeah, obviously the Summers kid is extremely talented, but we think we got one of the better ones too. Nick's as tough as they come. He's very physical. He's fresh. Him missing 10 weeks due to his elbow, so he worked his butt off to get back, and he's had a great postseason run, and we need another big night from him.
Talk about your QB, Mr. Fee.
Yeah, Greg's played great. He's, obviously just the first year starting, but he was here for Budge and sat behind him, and, I think that says a lot about him of being loyal, and he's, just stepped up and taken full advantage of his opportunity. He's done a great job of leading us. He makes every throw we need him to, and he controls our offense very well.
Seeing your receivers kind of remind me of Grimsley's receivers. You got several guys got some good yardage among several different people, so they're spreading the wealth around, I think, at receiving spot for you.
Yeah, last year everybody knew the ball was going to go to Keenan most of the time. So, but with Javon coming back as a senior, and then Kelson and Johnny, right, those 3, and then Joseph Madden moving from, X to tight end H-back has been a huge help for us. Those 4 kind of are the big ones, and they all have 25, 30 catches and do a great job with the ball in their hands and after the catch. And then, we'll throw it to our backs a lot too. Diamond, Brody Anson, and Anthony Barino are all guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield as well.
How about your kicker? Talk about him just a little bit.
Yeah, we used to. Everett Mandeville does kickoffs most of the time, and then Owen McNulty's our extra point field goal guy, and they've been super consistent. We've harped on it this week. 2 years ago up here, blocked extra point, blocked field goal, and we lost by 1. So it's definitely been a point of emphasis, but special teams has been the whole year, and they're really good on it and take pride in it, and we do too.
I'm sure from your standpoint, you mentioned already Mitchell Summers and Grimsley running back a focus of yours, also the quarterback Faison Brandon, another focus you're looking at.
Yeah, I think Faison one of the most talented quarterbacks we'll see. We saw a really talented one last week in Bryce Baker as well, but I think it starts with their line up front and Mitchell Summers. I think they want to run the ball. It shows, giving them the ball 30 times, and I got a lot of respect for him, having played him the last 2 years, how tough he is, how hard he runs, and kind of like the soul and heartbeat of their team.
Nothing fancy probably. What's allowed Weddington to stay toward the top the past several years? I know you got a victory a couple years ago against Eastern Guilford 3 AAA championship game. Then Southeast Guilford, you beat them in a 3 state championship game, and also able to beat Grimsley last year to move on. These Guilford County teams, you guys have had success. What's allowed Weddington to be up toward that top over the past several years?
I think it's just the talent of our kids. They're physical. They're super talented. Everybody just talks about Weddington's well coached, but I think they discredit how talented and hard-nosed and physical our kids are, and I think that's something we preach as a staff. I think it's something that, they understand, and, every Friday night they're going to be the hardest playing team on the field.
Coach Capone, no relation to Al Capone, but Andy Capone doing a great job with your team, knocking other teams off. Keep up the good work, and always like what you guys do as far as you represent Weddington. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.